You are listening to I Hate Average podcast featuring Jay from the Bronx.
What's going on, people? What's going on? I'm back. Thanks for your patience. We recording this a little later. I've been kind of under the weather. You probably can still hear it in my voice. Been I don't want to say sick. I'll say under the weather. But yeah, I'm back at it. Got another great interview. Last week was great. It was cool. Thank you, Miss Dawn Day, for that great episode. Great insight. A lot of positive information. Been getting some cool feedback. This week is no different. We have another cool guest. Her story is pretty interesting. Her name is G from Very G TV. I don't want to get into it because of the story speaks for itself. But thank you, Dawn Day, for last week. Thank you guys for being patient. Thank you guys for all your support. At the end of the show, I got a little favor or just a little opportunity for you guys to support the show a little bit more financially. How about that? So thank you guys for everything, and here's my interview with G from Very G TV. This is interesting. You got to hear it.
All right, everyone. I have here with me G from Very G TV. How you doing?
I'm wonderful. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. So I found you on social media. I forget how I ran across you, but I just felt, you seem to have a story. I kind of was compelled by some of the things you were doing. So can you just tell me your story, how you got started with, being an activist for the LGBTQ community and also being a black woman and a Jamaican woman. So can you just tell me your story, how you got started with that?
Yeah, most definitely. Well, I like to tell people that for many years I couldn't live openly. The culture I come from, I couldn't. I was very fearful. So when I say couldn't, I wasn't in a position where I felt comfortable to do it. I'm from Jamaica, where pretty much most people still think that it's wrong to be gay, and people who are gay are supposed to live in the closet, not openly. And even though I've been in the United States for many, many years, I still felt much of that myself. So so I had a long time of not feeling comfortable being gay at all. I was actually like many people in Jamaica. I was even homophobic. I really believed it was wrong. And after many years of pretty much having to really deal with that and having to come to terms with being a lesbian, being in the gay community, I decided that I would be openly gay, which is very big, a big deal for Jamaican culture. It's a big deal. And I'll also tell you that I was married to a man, and we had kids, and we have kids. And so I was in a heterosexual marriage, Jamaican man, kids, everything. And he's amazing. I always like to acknowledge him because he helped me a lot to decide to live my life. So so a major part of my journey is just really having to deal with accepting it's okay to be gay and accepting myself as gay. So once I came out and to be openly a member of the LGBT community, I just was propelled to really be an activist.
Wow. Okay, great. So I find that interesting. So let's say on your wedding night, you had no inkling in your mind, did you know that this is the route you was going to do forever, or did you, maybe figure one day you'll just be honest with yourself?
It's interesting because I got married very young. I was 23 years old when I got married, and I married the man who I'd known for, I think, 9 or 10 years. We had dated. And one thing I talk to people who are gay in Jamaica is that you don't actually see gay couples. You don't see, there's no example. But when I was growing up in Kingston, so I didn't imagine it to think, now you see gay couples and people who are women and men, having children, adopting children, having families, blended families. In Jamaica, I didn't see anything. I knew one person, my parents' friend. They said that she was a lesbian. I never saw her with somebody. So I didn't see it as any part of my life that I would be gay. So this was beyond my imagination. So it's like saying to somebody 40 years ago, you're black, would you imagine being a black president? And most people would be like, of course not. So it was like that for me. I didn't see an example. I wouldn't even have thought of it as a possibility.
Okay. So
yes,
you became an activist. Basically, you felt the need to, I guess, to help other women like you out, basically, to help women. Okay.
Yeah, I felt that what really drove me and really motivated me was that I felt very alone when I was going through my journey and challenges in terms of being, realizing that I love women and being gay or being a lesbian, being queer, whichever word you want to use. And so I felt that once I was ready to be open, that I would share my life. As if you look at my social media space is very GTV. I am very gay. I share it because I didn't see that, and I feel like it would make such a big difference in people's lives. And people are always messaging me to say, hey, thank you so much. And even today, 2016, the LGBT community in Jamaica is doing much better, but it's still tremendous challenges. Like you can't walk down the street holding hands if you're in a same-sex relationship or anything like that. So it's still very challenging. So, yes, I became an advocate pretty much like I just wanted to be able to be somebody to be a part of bringing change and bringing equality. And part of what I do also is I have this event called Thou Art Woman. And
I was going to ask you about that.
Okay, thank you. I saw that there was a void for, like, events for women that were, I love parties, and parties are great, but there's something different from a party. There's an open mic night, it's poetry, it's art, and it's just really a beautiful event of very diverse LGBTQ women and allies.
Okay. So it's not just for LGBTQ women, it's just for women who just want that support.
Well, it's celebrating LGBTQ women and anybody who wants to be a part of that. So lots of women who are not in the community, they're allies in some way, or men who are allies, come on and go on open mic and support it. We have sponsors, community sponsors that are not necessarily LGBTQ, but they support the event. So it's actually, we started in 2014, and it's been thriving, which is great. So that's a form of advocacy that's not like literally, like trying to pass a law, but it's like creating a space. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Definitely. So I just find it interesting because it's basically your life took like a real 180. So you went from being heterosexually and married, and now you brand yourself as very gay TV. That's just that was so cool. So how did you feel like when you decided you wanted to be an advocate and you wanted to brand yourself and you wanted to blog and write and create events? How did you come up with that brand?
Well, that's actually a great question. I feel like it's kind of like a calling. I was sharing myself more and more. People, I saw that there was a void. Lots of things that I've done in my life is filling a void. So I didn't really see a lot of Jamaicans who are openly gay sharing stories. We have probably 10 openly gay Jamaicans who are very public. And I felt like, it's very few of us. And I just really wanted to share. And one day it just came on me. My first name starts with G, too, so that was helpful. And then, and my nickname is G, and G gay. So it kind of like came in my mind one day. It was like very GTV. And the TV is a play on visibility, because what happens is that the culture I'm from wants us to be invisible. So I've now contradicted that and said, hey, no, we don't need to be invisible. We need to actually be visible. So that's the play on the TV. So it's pretty much saying, hey, I want to be open. I want to share my life, and I want people to feel comfortable to be themselves. And also I feel like it's more likely for people to be tolerant, because when you're invisible, it's easy to hate the invisible person. You don't know that's your sister, your cousin, or your neighbor. But when you realize, hey, gee, that's her. That's my friend. I like her. She's cool. She's great. And she's gay. Like, oh, man, I don't really need to hate gay people. So when you pretty much like can know that there are people right there that you care about who are gay, it makes a big difference. So, yeah, so that's part of me just feeling like, and especially because since I lived for years where I felt I couldn't live this life, I felt like once I got to the point that I was able to be open, that I would be very open to help others be able to be open and others to be tolerant as well.
So when they initially, came out, did you receive support from like surprising places? Like, did you have friends who would say, I kind of had those same feelings too, but I wasn't as brave as you? Did you, have any stories like that?
I had so much variations of coming out stories because it's like, I think anybody who's gay would say you come out over a series of years, because you might come out to like your siblings or your parents long before you come out to maybe your friends and your colleagues at work or whatever. Some people I told that I was gay were shocked because I was married to a man. Some were like, my best friend from college, she was like, I knew. She knew from like 20 years ago. She's like, oh my gosh, I still knew. And I'm trying to think, did anybody say they were as well? I'm sure that at least one person said they were. But I had the experience where when I started posting the first woman I was dating publicly, putting it on social media, I had someone who's Jamaican message me to say, hey, you and your friend look like a couple. And I said, we are. I just didn't say it, but we were in images. And she's like, wow, I'm a lesbian, and she's Jamaican. And we started to talk. And for her, she actually had 2 Facebook pages, one where she could be herself, meaning openly gay, and the other where she was in a Jamaican circle of friends and family where she was straight. So she was living a full double life, not just in real life, double life on social media.
Social media, wow.
On social media, yes. I mean, it's unfortunate, but yes, so there are people who, like, when they saw my life, said, hey, I'm living that, but can't necessarily live it as fully as I am. And I also add, if I was in Jamaica, I couldn't really live the way I am because Jamaica is still not tolerant, so it's more dangerous. But I live in the States, in America, I'm much more able to live and feel, even though we have homophobia here as well, I don't feel like my life is threatened,
So you don't really travel back to Jamaica as often?
I actually do. I'm going to Jamaica. I'm going to Jamaica next month, actually. So it's something that when I go probably once a year, that I have to be aware.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, I'm wise. And I present, you can see I present mostly masculine, so it does, if I was more feminine, it would be a little safer. But because I present more masculine, it's like some people will, as they see me, think, oh my gosh, I'm a lesbian. But I went last year, October, and I was actually fine. So I hope the same for this trip, that I'm fine.
Of course. I hope the same also. But so you still don't see the turning point in Jamaica, not really?
Well, I see some, in terms of the advocacy there, the LGBTQ community, I see them being much more active. They had their first Pride last year. This year's second Pride, and I look at it on IG, some on Facebook. There's an organization, J-Flag. And then there's another organization, QCJ. So there's 2 major organizations down there, and I see the community there really doing a lot more. No, does the country on a whole, is it more accepting? I don't know if the mainstream is, but I think people, the more they see people and they see people acknowledging themselves, that it is shifting. But I think that Jamaica has a long, long way to go, like a really long way to go.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what is can you talk about more about the Dow Women event? Like what are some of the things that you've seen?
Yeah, so like I was saying earlier, so for Dow Women, we've traditionally had it in an art gallery, so there's actually literally art in the space. And I usually hire, based on getting sponsorship, we hire professional spoken word artists, professional performers to perform. And then what makes it very unique is that any person who feels moved that evening or prior can let me know that they want to perform. So it ends up being this really beautiful evening of people sharing their stories. It might be in song. Like we had one in July, one woman who's Haitian sang a song in French. We had a lady who played the drums. We had a lot of poetry. So, and we had a man who said his parents, his mom said to him, now this man is probably in his 30s or 40s, he remembers when he was a little boy, his mom told him that she was gay, and so is his dad.
Wow.
So he connected to us, yes. So it's a space where like so much people can connect. My brother, who is an ally, has performed several times as well. He's done poetry, he's done readings. So it's just if you're ever in South Florida, you got to come to it because it's just a really unique space and sharing our souls and our stories, and also a non-judgmental space, because lots of times when people perform, you have an energy sometimes people are like, oh my God, this person thinks they can sing, or this person thinks they're good. And it's like, no, everybody who comes to this mic is amazing. Everybody who comes to this mic.
You just come to express yourself. Yeah.
Come to express yourself. So no judgment about how good you are. It doesn't matter if you read your poem or if you've memorized it. It doesn't matter if so we're really just really beautiful space. So I had it about twice a year, and now just moving to 4 times a year. My next one is November 4th in South Florida. There's an IG space for Thou Art Woman as well, so people can visit it there. Mm-hmm. And if you request on Facebook, you can request to join the Thou Art Woman group. You can do that as well. So that's been growing, and we just got a grant from Broward County, the county in Florida where I live and have the event. That's where Fort Lauderdale is. Just got a grant to help with helping it grow.
Wow, that's great.
Mm-hmm.
So it's amazing to see how, your life basically changed when you just started to be honest with yourself and open with yourself and just expressing who you really was, and all these different doors started opening for you.
It's amazing. It's ironic because, Jay, I'll tell you, when I was not openly gay, I thought the scariest thing would be to be openly gay, and I felt like, I was really trying to live secretly for the years. And I was enjoying my marriage because I was married to great guys. I'm enjoying my children. I have 2 wonderful sons. So I was enjoying my life, but there's a part of me that just was like just not able to live myself fully. And then it's so amazing to me that now that I am, that it's amazing. And then I'm impacting others I also volunteer for the Human Rights Campaign, HRC, and that's the largest LGBT organization in America. And I've gotten the opportunity to do great work. We've gone to Capitol Hill and lobbied for LGBT equality legislation. This is like between Thou Art Woman and volunteering and Vergy TV, just been able to really have a great impact in the community. And so I feel it's ironic, and I'm relieved that it's actually, I would have never imagined it would be such a good experience to be myself.
Wow. And think you could have still been, it's not a bad notion. Of course, there's nothing wrong with marriage, but you could have still been, married to a man and still, kind of been sealed and still having secrets in your own head. So, I guess,
in the end, it's challenging. It's very challenging.
Yeah. I can imagine, but I kind of been, trying to speak to people about, of course, not everything is about sexually, but just being brave, period, about even starting businesses or you're having ideas for different creative projects. And people always, like you said, you think about the fear part, but you don't think about the doors that it'll open or the places it'll take you.
Right. Amazing. Yeah, I never in my wildest dreams would I imagine that, 1, I would really be able to live openly, and then 2, once I lived openly, I would have just such a great experience. Like I'm blogging, if you go to vergytv.com, I'm blogging about what it's like to be Jamaican descent and be gay and the different experiences that I've had, and I'm getting great feedback. Some people message me, people comment, but overall people are saying, wow, because it's so few of us who are really open. We have Stacey Ann Chin. She lives in New York, and she writes. She's written a novel, and she performs. Diana King, she's a reggae fusion artist. We have Kat CHR. She's also, like I'd say, a Jamaican alternative artist. So, and that's for women. Probably a few other. We have Angeline Jackson. Actually, Barack Obama, when he went to Jamaica about 2 years ago, he acknowledged her. She's an activist in Jamaica. So there's really a handful of people who are really putting themselves out there and advocating from the Jamaican community. And I know in Jamaica itself, there's a lot of people working there, in the trenches, in the different organizations. But it's still just a handful of us. They're changing hearts and minds.
Before you started Vergy TV, was you writing already, or writing was just a way you wanted to express yourself with what you was going through?
I've always been a writer of some sort, but I hadn't been blogging. So I'm just from I've written articles for years, so I just hadn't written blogging, and I hadn't written really about my life. But I knew, and I'm working on a book, which is very, very challenging. But I decided a couple of years ago that I really need to write my whole story and share the whole story, and feel that will be a great impact for many people as well.
I don't want to I don't want to offend you. I don't want to know my boundaries. But when did you know yourself you was gay before you came out to other people, before you told your husband or when did you know yourself?
Yeah.
I'm more attracted to women.
Yeah, I mean, I had some hints during my childhood and teenage years, but I think because I didn't see it as an example, like I said earlier, I didn't imagine it to be real, like that's who I could be. So I would say I was a newlywed. I was in my young 20s when, I mean, it was just like so clear to me as like, no matter what I did, I love women. And the first person I came out to, well, I always say the first person I came out to was myself, because I had to like really acknowledge like for myself before I told anybody else that I love women, and it was really very difficult. And then the second person I came out to was my husband, and that was also very difficult, but it was a relief to be able to say it out loud to somebody else. And from there, little by little, I shared with like my brother, my sister, my parents, my closest cousins, my closest friends. And at some point, I just said I was living pretty much a double life, and I was exhausted. And I remember deciding that I'm just going to live as one person, and I'm going to be completely and utterly openly gay. And it just was, I had a lot of people who said, oh, my God, you don't have to let people know. You don't have to let, and I'm like, what do you mean? I want to live my life. Just like heterosexual couples get to live their life and live openly. I want to live openly, too. So it's been, in some ways, challenging. Like I said, some people challenge me on it. But it's worth it because I feel just great being my full, authentic self.
That's true. All right, so let's take you back to, let's say, your first breakup when you became a lesbian. Your first breakup where you was in a relationship with a woman and you guys break up. Did you second guess yourself, or did you still know that this is what you was?
No, I knew. I would say a breakup would be like specific to that woman and not regarding, not impacting whether or not I love women. It was like, well, that did not work out.
Okay. Well, I don't want to hold you up all night. I appreciate your time. Thank you so much. Well, your story is compelling. I hope people look you up on Very GTV and see the various things you're getting into. It's compelling. I can't wait for your book to come out.
Oh, thank you so much. Well, thanks for inviting me. I was really excited when I saw you reach out to me based on seeing me on IG, Instagram, and commend you on doing the show. I look forward to hearing it and hearing from anybody who wants to ask me questions or invite me to anything to share or wants to advocate as well for this community. Reach out to me. Thank you so much, Jay.
All right. Okay. Have a good night.
I told you guys. I told you. Phenomenal story. Crazy story. It's just crazy how where life can take you. Once you're honest with yourself and you go after the path you feel necessary. Of course, everybody's not gonna, reveal a different type of sexuality, but other people have, passions in business or passions in creativity and things that they want to do, but they let fear stop them. So I actually been writing about that on my website, averagej.com, just speaking about fear and different things that hinder our success. And this woman, she was living as a wife, a housewife. She had kids. She had a husband. Great life. Wasn't anything wrong with it, but she knew that this wasn't her path, and she went after the path. She was honest with herself and honest with the people around her, and she decided to go down the path that she always felt was hers. So it's just something I wanted to tell, a story I wanted to tell. Once I heard about it and I was exposed to her, it's a story I wanted to tell on this show, and not because of of her lifestyle change, but just because to speak about bravery, speak about where things could take you once you how life could just dramatically change once you're pursuing your natural passions, pursuing your I don't know how to explain it, but your path. Everyone has a specific path that they're chosen to take, and once you're on that path, I think the universe or God takes you and blows your life up to a phenomenal way. So I'm actually trying to pursue my passion as public speaking. I think that's something that it's necessary for me. I think that's something I've always been exposed to, and it's something that I'm trying to go down. So I'm doing this show. I'm speaking to you guys. I've been, trying to find different avenues or speaking to crowds, just to expose myself, because I think that's the path that I'm chosen to take, and of public speaking. So it's just, I want people to consider, what's your passion, what's your path, and what's stopping you from pursuing it. She let for a couple of years, she let fear stop her. She let homophobia stop her. She let her culture stop her because it wasn't something she was exposed to. But, once she was honest with herself and just took the leap, and her life changed. And I think it's a lot of people, including me, that it's things that we should just take leaps in. That's what this show is about. That's what the stories I want to expose of people taking the leap. Last week we spoke with Dawn Day. She took the leap and actually changed her coast. She lived on the East Coast and moved to the West Coast. This woman, she changed her path, and she went from being a housewife mom to being a advocate for homosexuality for Jamaica and also the United States. So life is interesting, and it's different types of stories. This is not I Hate Average podcast. This is not an average podcast. This is not an average story, and I want you guys to be exposed to different things. And I appreciate your support. As you could tell, I'm not feeling too great, so my energy is a little down. I apologize for that, but I wanted to get this show out. Thank you guys for your support. Also, check out the website, averagej.com, averagej.com. Check me out on social media, I Hate Average Jay, on Twitter, Snapchat. Instagram is I Hate Average Podcast, all spelled out. Also, check out, I got a t-shirt campaign. I only have one shirt right now, one style shirt right now, but we're going to be having a couple other different styles within the next couple of weeks. So check out the page at Teespring, teespring.com/AVGJAY. Once again, teespring.com/AVGJAY. Basically short for Average J. But I got this style is kind of cool. It says, "Women love jerks. Just ask my wife." I thought that was a humorous slogan. So just check that out. Support. It's not an expensive shirt. I'm going to have other styles that just keep checking up on it the next couple of weeks. And thank you guys. I apologize for shortening this up because I'm not feeling too great, but next week I'm going to be back. I'm going to take some Benadryls and all of that, and I'll be back at 100% next Monday. So thank you guys for listening, and talk to you guys next week.